Okay, today we'll be doing installation of the application we are going to use for the bootcamp. And when you click on the link I sent to you for downloads, it's going to lead you to this place whereby you find this file. So there are two options around it. If you click on it, you will see these three dots here. You can click and say download, or you right click on it and say choose download. Whichever way, it will take you there. So I just click on download. The next thing is scan for virus and all that. Just click on download anyway, so it proceeds. And because I have the file here already, I don't need to download. I just have to stop this. But when you're done downloading, it should go to your downloads folder. So in the downloads folder, the first thing you have to do is to open it. For me now, I want to just right click on it, or let's right click and then choose extract all. Then we extract it into the same place there. Okay, I want us to get through the installation process. So I just finished. It's doing the extraction process. Have to be patient while it does that. Okay, it's done. When it's done, it opens this way for me. The next thing is to double click on it, double click the next one, and you get to the setup folder here, and then the crack folder. I want to get to the crack and see what we are to crack. You see three files inside here. The middle one here says readme. So I open that readme by double clicking. You can see install as trial. No need to insert serial. Use the bash file remove protexes.cmd to remove protexes. You may need to right click and execute as administrator. Then finally copy the psi key.dll into application folder, and this is the application folder being given. Okay, it was tested and all that. It's done here. Now let's get to the actual installation now. So the first thing say install as trial. So I want to get back into the folder where it is put here, the setup here. So I have to either double click or right click and choose open. So I double click on that setup and wait for it to open. You see it's asking me all these questions. I can just say run, depending on the version of operating system you're using. Okay, some might ask and some might not ask, but whichever way, just continue to click on the run or the continue option. So it's trying to unpack the file, brings up the installation option, keep on asking yes. Okay, like now this program has compatibility issues. This is peculiar to this particular system I'm using. You can get help online and see information about this program's compatibility issues. So I will say get help online. Alright, no solution found. Windows will notify you when the solution is found. Okay, in this case it doesn't find. So I now say okay, run without getting any help. So I'm running it. If this is blocking any content, I want to allow the blocked content. I want everything to show. Your system might not be the same, but a similar process you have to pass through, whereby you right click on the setup. Okay, so the next thing is accept the terms and conditions. Next, HP, I have a serial number. Please take note that you don't have a serial number. That is what the instruction says. If you can read it here, you see install as trial, no need to insert serial. So here it's asking you for serial number. Don't use this option, use this one. I do not have a serial number and want to try the product, so you click on next. Typical or custom, whichever way. I'm choosing typical, so just allow it to run. That's all we have to do today to make sure that you set up your system, and maybe we say one or two things before we call it a day. The next class will now begin to dig around the app. So you just have to be patient. This is a live recording, so I have to just wait for it to run. Okay, it has to run. I have to wait and be patient. It's 12% complete. I don't have anywhere. Grab your cup of tea and drink while it does the installation. Okay, it is still installing. You can see changes loading in the system and all of that, but the installation is in process. All you have to do is be patient and wait for it to run. Just be patient and wait for it to run. Be patient and wait for it to run. It's running 50% complete already, so hopefully in the next 2 minutes it should be out of this screen. We now get into other ministries, other things to do. I just want to demonstrate this so that you can see how it's being done, and when you are passing through the same process, you will not really be questioning what is going on, what is not going on. And I think this is good. You can see all those pop-ups on screen. It's not your business, it's not your duty, just leave them. It's running on the background, it's doing the installation. 78% complete, running very fast. We will soon be done. In a matter of a minute, this screen will be out. So that's running. That's almost okay, it's complete. You can see setup has been successful. We have this and we have this. You can now say finish. So we are done with instruction number 2. Instruction number 2 says use the batch file remove protexes.cmd to remove this. You may right click and execute as administrator. Okay, optional but recommended. Okay, let's grab services running in your system. Okay, it's optional but recommended. Let's get back to that crack folder. This is the remove protexes file, which is the last one. If you are following my order, the order is not important. What matters is the file we are looking for. So right click on it, choose run as administrator. Yes, press any key to continue. Just tap any key and that is all. It's done, nothing more. It's not a big thing. Then finally, the third and the last instruction says copy psi key.zll into application folder. Now this is the application folder. See programs file 86 Corel graphics with x5 programs. So how do we get to that? Let's this is our browser. We go to, I have to copy this file. Right click on it and choose copy. Go to this PC, drive C, programs file 86. After programs file 86, which other folder do we have to go there? CorelDraw x5 programs. Okay, so return back to here. We now look for Corel. Yes, we now have Corel x5. You can see that I have Corel 11 here too. This Corel x5, and then we have programs. This is where you paste it. Right click any blank space here and paste that file. It will ask you, you need to provide administrator permission to copy this to this folder. Yes, continue. And when that is done, we are done. Installation is complete. Close all of this. Okay, the next thing, close all of this. The next thing you might want to do now is to look for that CorelDraw app we just installed. So if you click on your start menu, look for CorelDraw. Okay, the one we just installed is the x5. Okay, so we are going for x5. Open it to see if it is loading, and behold, it is loaded. And that's just the much that is needed to be done today. Make sure that you install your CorelDraw x5 and it is loading for you. And by dint of today being an introduction still, you can see it shows a quick start of what we call welcome screen, showing us some of the last works we must have done. Remember that in my own case I have to uninstall the previous one to reinstall it so that you can see. Then these are the recent works we've done. Make this default welcome screen. In other words, every time you open CorelDraw, you should always show this. If you don't want it, disable it. Always show this welcome screen at start up or at launch of the application. You might want to always show it or not. I don't care. For me, I think it's not really necessary. Okay, so that is just that. If you want to start a new work, you can click on blank new document to start. If you want to open new from template, if there's any template already, you can start here. Behind that, there are also some quick links here. Okay, where we are now is a quick start. There is what we call what is new. In other words, the new features of CorelDraw x5. that is different from what the last version must have had, like X4, if there's anything like X4. Okay, this is these are some of the new features here. You can explore to see what's different there. Learning tools. Okay, CorelDraw has a way of also teaching you some of the things about the application, so you might want to get to Corel Tutor. For instance, if you click on Corel Tutor now, and you will have some stuff you can learn. Okay, look at this: workspace store, creating a layout, and merging graphics and text. Let's say you want to do anything you want to do. Let's say workspace store, okay, which is more likely one of the first. Okay, you can see CorelDraw taking you through the tour of the workspace, things you might need to know and things you might be able to use. Can I make this a little bigger? Okay, to see the functions. Okay, this is the workspace store. You can take time and read through all of this, and you'll be helped. Okay, instead of having to wait for the instructor who might not even explain everything to you, but just give you the areas that are to be useful to you. Okay, but that's a workspace store. I want to close this file, get back to CorelDraw. You can see any other links as well you want to watch. Then we were under learning tools. Then we have gallery. These are some of the galleries that CorelDraw has put in. You want to watch it, you want to look at any one, just click on any of them, and that's okay. And you can scroll to see more and more works that CorelDraw has done, which if you want to sit down and spend energy to design, you should be able to design something like this too using the app. Okay, these are things that CorelDraw has taken time to spend energy to design for you. In other words, they are kind of inspiration in case you want to design something similar to this. You can start struggling, trying, drawing, painting until you get it right. Okay, then finally updates. If there's any updates, you will see. If there's no updates, you will not see. But for me, I don't recommend this updates part, so just forget about it, ignore it. That's just the welcome screen, and if you always want to see it next time, you check on it, and that's it. I want to get back to the quick start, which is the welcome home, to start my new document. But even if it's not there, you could just, and when you start a new document, here is where you select your paper size. Okay, maybe you might want to select your file name, put the file name there, paper size, select the paper size. When you select the paper size, it automatically takes care of the dimensions here. But if the paper you want is not one of these conventional paper sizes, you might fill in the dimensions on your own, and then choose the units of measurements here, being maybe the units you want to use. If you are measuring things like flyer, you don't need to use this type because flyer is always an A5 size. If you are doing things like billboards, okay, flex banners, you might want to use flex banners and billboards might use the fit measurements. If you are doing a few things like maybe you want to crop passport photograph into pixels and all that based on recommendations online, you might want to use pixels and stuff like that. Just choose accordingly. But even if you do not choose them, you can always choose them when you get inside the main document. I'm taking time to explain because this is an introductory part. This is primary color mode. We likely will have like two different color modes here for in this version of CorelDraw: RGB and CMYK. RGB is good for online graphics. CMYK might be good for you if you are doing printing. Doesn't mean that RGB might not be printable, and that doesn't also mean that CMYK might not be printable. The only difference is that CMYK, when you design, the color you will see on screen is likely what will print out, because printer takes in or absorbs some colors. While RGB, everything is going to look bright and colorful, but some of those colors don't usually produce in terms of printing. So you must get to know all of that. Then preview mode, enhance is better than wireframe or draft and all this normal. Maybe when we get in, you can look at that and see the differences. And then pixels, if you want to see pixels. Then finally the color settings. Okay, these are RGB standards, the one we are using. I don't advise you to touch any of them. The CMYK, we are using US coded and all of that by default. If you change any of this, it changes the colors you will see in this place. Don't change them, okay, except you have a specific reason why you want to change them. So for us, I want to use RGB because most of the designs we're going to make is going to be for our online stuff. You might say you don't want to see this anymore, so it doesn't stop you when next you are opening CorelDraw. But for me, I don't think I really have any challenge with that. Just click OK, and it opens. I want to maximize this to fill in the screen. And when you open now, you now land yourself inside CorelDraw working environment. Whether you get to this point or not, the moment you finish your installation, congratulate yourself, you have done the first part of today's work, which is to be able to install. I just have to take time and introduce us to the other screen, which we may not likely be talking about so much in course of it, because all those, like that paper size is here already. That stuff, you can see them here. That unit we spoke about is already here. So why would we be wasting our energy discussing it at the home screen when we can as well and at all times modify our documents or our drawings to whatever we want it to be like? Okay, that's the much it is for today. Just take a moment. Maybe let me just run you through the menu bars we find in CorelDraw X5. You can see the file menu, edit, view, layout, arrange, effects, bitmap, text, table, tools, window, and help. Quickly, the file menu contains some of the options that has to do with file, as in the file you're working with, like bringing in things to the file or taking things out of the file, saving it, opening an existing one, or scanning for acquire images. That is where you scan. Import, if you're bringing in pictures or clips from other CorelDraw files or other documents, you can import it here. You can send and all that through maybe Bluetooth or by email, or just to create a shortcut for your file on the desktop and all of that. You can as well save or publish to PDF, converting your work to PDF. It can be a way of saving it as or all that. If you want to open a new an existing work, you open here. To open a new work, if you want to create new from template, that is if you have any templates, okay, you can see some of the templates we have here already. You can pick any of them and open new. When you open new from template, means that you have to save your work after you've done the signing. Okay, this is a template that CorelDraw has already put in place for you. You can choose and then modify it accordingly, and you can look for other templates still there. That's file menu. Some of those functions are also lined up here. Okay, then we have the edit menu showing you the undo and redo and repeat commands, instruction, copy, paste, and all that. The usual commands you find in computer, like in Microsoft Word, if you're using Microsoft Word, Excel, and any other applications you use, these things are always there. How to delete, if you want to delete, or the same thing as pressing delete on keyboard. Then symbols, okay, you want to check in symbols manager and all of that. Duplicate an object when it's there. Okay, copy properties from, for instance, you can have, I don't want to go into much detail, so I do not show us today. You can copy properties from an object, okay, sorry, under editing menu. Find and replace text and objects, insert barcode, and properties of the file. You want to see the properties of whatever you're holding, you look at it. Okay, sorry, this other one here has properties, document properties. It's different from properties of maybe the tool you are using with, or the object. If you select this object now and check properties, edit menu, properties, it shows you the properties of this particular object you are using, and you can modify things from here. Next is the view menu. It shows you the same, like I spoke before when we were on the other welcome screen talking about the different kinds of view. Let me just take like view. This is enhanced, makes everything very lively and colorful, thick in color. Next one is wireframe. You see the way it appears, like drafts. Next one is maybe like the draft, a little color, but things are faded. Why that enhance give you that powerful view? If you look at the pixelated, wow, everything is up to date. So you can check on all of that. Now you can simulate alpha print, you can see full screen, you can, oh sorry, I didn't want to do that. You can as well look at all this about view. You have rulers. These are the rulers. Okay, you don't want to see the rulers, you hide them here. You want to see them, you enable them through the rulers. Then we have grid, okay, like grid lines showing you, guiding you and all that, and you can set how these grids are being placed, but that's on an advanced level. I disabled that. We also have show or hide page border, bleed, and printable area. For instance, all of these now, if you put this is page border, then if you also see under show and hide, you can have the printable area. Okay, you can see the printable area, and if you can as well, based on this is based on the kind of printer you are using and the what you are setting up for. So these things might be important. For instance, if you choose the paper size to be A4, okay, look at this now. This is our printable area, right? And all that's okay. So I want to hide them. I'm not interested in them. They don't care. But show me page border. Show page border. Was see the page border, original page border, but it's a small document inside just the page. Okay, because it's an A4 page, and then it shows us the bleed limit there. In other words, bleeding means that it gives a little allowance after your drawing, so that people that are trimming, at the end of trimming, they will cut out this section, leaving what is inside to remain. Okay, that's on that. You can look into all this: snap to object, snap to grid. That snapping means that, like, let me say you snap to grid lines now, and I also display the grid line for you to see. If you move an object closer to the when I click on the object with the text tool or pick tool and move it close to the grid lines, it wants to snap it around. You can see here, see now showing me H. It wants to snap to that point. That's the beauty of snapping. Sometimes it can restrict you from moving objects freely on the screen, so you would decide which one and how you're going to go about it. Snap to pixel, snap to grid, and all that. Then next one is on the layout menu, but you can insert extra page, duplicate page, rename page, switch page orientation, and all of that. Page background still, if you want to put page background. Please, I want to remove these grid lines. They are distracting my eyes. Even the bleed, I don't want it. Okay, this is how it should be, or I'm more used to. You will choose your own based on how you feel like it should be to you. Okay, so that's that. I wanted to delete that, but next thing is the layout, showing this. Okay, we've already explained this. Okay, then the arrange menu, whereby you can arrange your objects in terms of transformation, moving, positioning, rotating, and all of that. You can choose what to do here. Under our transformation, we also have clear transformation. In other words, you clear whatever thing you do, whether you resize it, you scale it, you skew it, you change position, it will return back to originality. Align and distribution, that is how you align one object to the other one, or even align it to center of page. For instance, while this object is here, I could say go to range, align and distribute, and now say to center of page P. It puts it at the middle of the page exactly, and stuff like that. I can as well align it to an object. That's something we will explore in the course of the training. Group on group, when you group many things together, they work together. When you're on group, you can pick them one by one and work. You can lock an object so that even if you mistakenly want to move, it cannot move and follow you. Okay, because I've locked this one now, but if I don't want to unlock it, I can now come right click and say unlock it, then I can now move it. The moment you lock it, even if it's the same thing, also is applicable on shortcut menu, which is by right clicking, you can get all of that done. Okay, shaping, that's welding and joint curve. Then we also have effects menu. Effects menu talks about controls the effects you can apply to your objects, maybe like in terms of adjustments, like the tone curve and all of that for bitmaps, for transformations and all of that, color correction, artistic media, and all the effects, including the part to place an object inside a container. Like bring picture, you want your picture to fall in within the boundaries of this shape here, it will fall in. Go to effects menu and get all of that, roll over, and then copy effects. Like you can copy perspective, copy envelope, and all the effects. The effects tools are here too. We also have bitmap. Bitmap is more like saying pictures, okay, but it's more pictures is a combination of the dotted bits, okay, map of dot everywhere. So all the effects that relate to bitmaps and pictures are here. And in other words, for this to be active, the object you must be handling at hand must be a picture. Okay, like this now, here is a picture. You can see it's already showing edit bitmap. If you click on bitmap menu, most of these things become highlighted. Most of them become highlighted. But if I'm clicking on something like this, which is just an ordinary shape, it's not a picture, come here, you see that they are no longer active, because even if you click on this and go to it doesn't work, because these things are not applicable to pictures. They are only applicable to bitmap. So now that I'm selecting a picture file, bitmap is more like a picture. You see all these things being active on them. Okay, then text, things that relate to text commands, okay, like paragraph formatting, character formatting, tabs, columns, and all of that. And for it to also work well, you need to be working with a text tool or a text object. Okay, object like this now is a text. In that case, if you go to text menu now, everything in the text now almost becomes active. You now select whatever option that will match your text. Take time and explore them, try things out, and you'll be good. This is for table. The table menu also controls tables. Tables also work like the kind of table you see in the Microsoft Word Office. If you use Microsoft Office Word, kind of text, you can add row, add columns, distribute, and do a lot of things about that with tables. Then we have the tools menu for the tools that controls and CorelDraw and all of that, whereby you can customize some of the commands or change the arrangement of the toolbox, add some other things to places, or remove some of them from there. Then we have the window menu for arranging of your document. Like now we have a document 1 opened here. Then we have the next document here, but you will always see one of them at the same time, so you can use one window to choose. You can say tile. If you tile them now, one of them opens here, the next one opens here. You can see you said tile. Which other tile? We tile them vertically, right? Now we now tile it horizontally. Sorry, we now tile it vertically. You can see them being stacked, okay, this way. So that's just that. You can close or you can close some. You can check the dockers, whereby most of the toolbars that you might want to see around, okay, you can click anyone that is not showing. You want to show them, show. For instance, the toolbox is here. If you see your toolbox hiding, come to window menu and then go to toolbars and then click on the toolbox. See, it has disappeared, and all these things there can be found here. It will be of benefit for you to take time and explore them and just get yourself acquainted with the interface of CorelDraw. And finally, help. If you need any form of help, this is likely things you might. So a few of them you will get it from store here. Some you might have to get online. For instance, help topics is here. You can get it here and then browse through everything you want to browse, both for learning process and everything. You know that this class we are coming in for how do I put it, everything you might be able to know to be able to get your graphics done. If you have all the time, get right, look through all this and read learning resources, getting started using this and that, using all that. For instance, Corel tutor tips and tricks and everything you want to, it's here. Take time and read through all of them. Objects, okay, working with objects, working with layers, working with symbols, okay, creating and editing symbols. You see CorelDraw has a lot of stories and notes for you. In fact, if you finish here, you've already graduated. You don't need me, again. You don't need me again. What I'm trying to do for us here is basically to just give us a quick way to go through these things, okay, because I'm not going to be elaborate like detailed, but if you can read through all of this and understand everything here, you don't have any challenge again, because you have understood CorelDraw perfectly. Okay, apply preset fountain fill, you click, and then it will show you how to go about that by reading all that instructions. Special effects, character transparency and object, using lens with objects, adding 3D effects to objects and all of that. So just follow through this and read through the whole of these and you get what you want. Okay, that's under help topics, and you can as well navigate the rest of them. What is new, we've already gotten that on the welcome screen. When we call the same thing you see here about CorelDraw, everything is still there, and that's just it. So this is where we'll call it a day. All right, thank you.